Jesus. Curls everywhere. Hey.
Hi.
But to get real cozy.
Yeah, real cozy.
Hey.
So, for those of you that don't know me or don't know me very
we
well.
want to tag me. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. My name is Samantha Bourgeois, and I am a hairstylist, and I'm also a coach for hairstylists looking to grow their business. And
hi, I'm Jamie Thurber, and I am actually Sam's coach, and I help people with their businesses, with their lifestyle, with basically creating calm and structure and organization within their whole world and whatever it is that they basically want their life to run like. I help them figure that out and make it happen.
And
that's
she's the
what
expert.
we do.
She's helped me a lot with becoming an adult, so that's good.
Yes.
But actually, so I had actually created a thriving business behind the chair before I met Jamie. She has helped me create my online coaching business, and she's helped me create a lot of peace in my life, and she's helped me as a byproduct grow my hair business, but that was not initially why we started working together. So that being said, we were talking last week, and I brought up the point that I wanted to start speaking on the topic of followers, because a lot of the stylists that I work with, when we start talking and they want to grow on social media, they always want more followers, more likes. And that's great, because we all want more followers and more likes, but the thing is, why? Why do you want more likes and more followers? Is it just because you want people liking your page and you want to feel cool, or is it because you want them in your chair? And just from like the hairstylist perspective, because a lot of stylists don't realize that followers don't equate to dollars necessarily. I had actually created a thriving six-figure business, and I didn't even have 500 followers on Instagram yet. I did it all on, Facebook business page, on Instagram, but it was engaging with the followers that I had, showing up every day, whether people were liking and commenting on my stuff or not, and from that it grew. So we're going to dive a lot deeper into that, but when I started speaking about that, Jamie jumped in with, oh my God, vanity numbers. I have so much to say on this topic. So
much to say.
Yeah.
Because it's really across the board a rule of thumb, honestly. Like, yeah, a lot of followers. Sorry, my dog. I'm trying to keep my dog down. A lot of followers is cool, right? Like, super awesome, yippee, hooray. But the fact of the matter is it doesn't always equate to dollars. It doesn't always equate to reach either. Like, that's the other part a lot of people don't realize. And the biggest reason that I was so passionate, or I am so passionate about this, is that a lot of people waste so much time stressing out over how many followers do I have. Oh my God, yesterday I had 250 followers and today I have 248. What did I do wrong? And it's like, what? Like, why the fuck are you even paying attention to that closely? Like, I get messages from people all the time who are like, did you unfollow me? Because I had this many yesterday and today I have this many. I'm like, how in the hell? Like, are you literally have enough capacity in your time, like in your day, to pay attention to, hey Russ, to pay attention to whether, like, within a day's notice how many people are there or are not there. And it's just like obsessing over that is not going to get you anywhere. To me, like, and productivity is my jam. Like, it is a waste of space in your mind. It is a waste of space in your day to be tripping over how many followers you had today versus how many you had yesterday and wondering why or why not. Because it's like, you'll never really know.
You're focusing on the wrong thing if that's what you're focusing on.
100%. Like, that is there's a lot of other things. I don't know where we're going with this.
Wherever we want to go, I don't have a plan.
I was about to say, like, talk
wherever
about
you want to take it.
Talk about straight up scarcity mindset. Like, if you're like stressing out over each one, like vanity number that way, and then losing a number or losing a follower or whatever, like, you're focusing on, like you said, the wrong thing, but you're focusing on loss. Like, you're not focusing on what you already have. And that's what building a business, but then if you flip it to a mindset side of things, and if y'all believe in like the law of attraction, it's the same thing. Like, you need to be focusing on what you already have. You need to be grateful and like focusing on creating the most out of what you already have, which is abundance in a nutshell. So what Sam was saying in the beginning, when you're talking about like nurturing the audience that you have and interacting with who is already there and being grateful for them. Don't be like, well, fuck, I lost 2 people.
Yeah.
I must be doing something wrong. Well, what about the 240
I was
people?
say, that's totally not paying attention to the followers you do have.
That think you're awesome. And that is the reason that you do what you do, is to
Yeah.
share your message or, you know, share your gift with the
Yeah.
world, basically. So anyway, also really quickly, I don't know about you, but I'm cool with if anybody has any questions.
Yeah, please.
Yes, Erica, exactly. If anybody has any questions or anything like that, feel free to chime in. Like,
Yeah.
but go ahead. I just went on a rampage.
No, I love it. Mom. Okay, my mom was calling me. Let's put this on Do Not Disturb real quick.
Do you have that?
Yeah.
That's
Because I have an iPhone.
I don't. Okay, I don't Apple, and so everybody makes so much fun of me. It's bullshit. Anyway.
Oh, okay. So I know a lot of the stylists that I talk to, it's not that they want vanity numbers. It's not even that they think, oh, I just want a whole bunch of followers. It's that they genuinely think that the reason they are not making a ton of money is because they don't have a ton of followers. So that's just not the case. You can turn so many of your followers right now into clients just by simply showing up and engaging with them. Like if you, and what I mean by that, by showing up, is showing up every day. If you go back to a year and a half ago on my Facebook business page, when I was actively trying to grow a clientele behind the chair as fast as possible, I was making videos. I was posting videos of my appointments 3 times a week. I was going live every single day. I was posting a picture every single day.
You're doing all those giveaways and stuff
doing
too.
giveaways. Yes, I was doing a giveaway every single week to get likes and followers on my page. And then once I had all these new followers, then I was making sure that I was giving them something to watch every single day. And it got to the point where new people would come in and they'd be like, oh, are you going to make a video of our appointment? Like it became this exciting thing. Mm-hmm. But it took me showing up again and again and again. I mean, I didn't get a huge response the first time I did that, or the second time, or the third time. But when I kept showing up and people kept seeing it, and it was different from what everyone else is doing, because it takes a lot of time. Sometimes I was at the salon until 11 o'clock at night making videos because it was the only time I had, and then editing them until midnight because it was the only time I had. I've since learned a more productive way to do things, but that being said, I was putting in a lot of time and nurturing the relationship with the clients that I have. You know, a lot of my stylists that I've worked with in the past, like, it's not even that they won't show up, but they're also not engaging. Like, if someone comments on your thing, respond to them, you know, actively engage with them on your posts, or, you know, if they ask you questions, ask your clients what they want to see you do, what they want to see you talk about, what types of videos they like. So
engagement should be a rule of thumb no matter what. Like, no matter what. Honestly, like, so here's a fun fact. I have been growing my Instagram very intentionally for very specific reasons, and I'm over 15,000 followers at this point. Whoop, whoop. It's super exciting. But here's the fun fact.
You dedicated like 6 months.
Yeah, to growing that, absolutely. It's very intentional. But the fact is I respond to every single comment. The other thing that's really interesting is, so there's this woman, so I like fangirl over Lauren Simpson. I don't know if you guys follow fitness models, but she just won the world fitness, and she's also a power lifter, and she's a badass from Australia. Anyway, she's got like 250,000 followers, and I'll be damned if that girl does not respond to every time I comment on her shit. And you can do that with anybody other than like celebrities. Yeah. Which she basically is. But anyway, that's the key. Like, that's the rule of thumb no matter what. You definitely need to be responding to your people. Like, that's the whole point of that's what social media is about. And what Sam was talking about as far as posting and consistency and engaging and interacting, like, the same thing goes for any kind of business. I have clients that are in automotive. I have clients who are coaches. I have clients who sell MLM products or whatever, and it's all about engaging. It's all about consistency. The contest, when I first started out as a coach, I was doing free challenges all the time.
Not trying to sell people something every time you get online.
Correct. It's adding value is the word. You're showing people things. You're giving them insight. You're giving them free information. You're giving away a product, whatever it might be. But like, so I used to do challenges all the time to gather, and here's the real deal. Okay, cool. I was giving them free information, but I was also getting their email address. I was getting them into my world. I could share my blog posts with them. I have people, honestly, that are on my mailing list from when I first started online fully 4 years ago that still read my blog posts and open my emails just from me giving them free information. Have they ever bought anything from me? No, but I bet your ass they talk about me and tell their friends about me if they're looking for my services. So that's what you have to think about. It's not always about this sale. It's number one, it's value you're putting into the world, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But it's also just about building that community. So if you're obsessing over those numbers, that negative energy is going into what you're doing, and people can feel that, and it's icky. How many times have you felt somebody be so salesy and so like up your ass about their content that you just don't want to be engaging with them and you don't really want to read it anymore because you can feel that. You have to put yourself in those positions and remember kind of how you feel as a consumer, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you guys are so sweet.
Oh, we got some people talking.
Yeah. Intentional engagement, Russ, absolutely. Nicole, you're wonderful. That's sweet. Loving these tips, I admit I need to engage more. Girl, I think everybody can engage more. Like, we can all do that. It's definitely something that we have to basically acknowledge is a thing. And here's another thing I was thinking about earlier. People get tripped out about responding. Like I just said, responding to Instagram messages, right? Like, so say I'll have 35 Instagram messages on a post. People are like, holy crap, that must take forever. It really doesn't. It can literally take me like 5 minutes. I can be sitting there waiting for, like, at the airport, waiting for the shuttle van to come get me and respond to every single comment in that 5-minute window. It's just a matter of closing your mind down for a hot minute and doing what you need to do. Yeah. I have been known, I'm not even gonna lie, I will hide in the bathroom and be like, give me 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it's true. And back to, like, you were talking about that person responds to everything. Another one, like in our world, Jamie Dana, if you guys know who she is, all she does now, she's retired from behind the chair, and all she does is teach stylists how to grow on Instagram specifically. And if you go comment on any of her stuff, she will respond within 24 hours, 100%.
That's huge. That's the way it should be. I mean, Andy Frisella, for God's sakes, responds to every comment. I don't know if you guys know if you don't know who Andy Frisella is, you should look him up. The MF CEO project. He's like a badass entrepreneur, like rocking the world right now, and has been for a couple years. His wife, same thing. Emily is amazing. She adds so much value into this world. If you want to look at a pure example of somebody who truly just adds obnoxious amounts of value into the social media world and does it the right way, like it's not cheesy. She's not trying to sell you shit. She's just literally giving her expertise and her experiences into the world. Does she make money? Absolutely, because she's doing it right. Yeah. She has affiliates that pay her money. She does have products that people, because they love her, buy them, but she doesn't have to force them to buy them because they follow her because of the amount that she gives and how she interacts. So, like, I'll type it in right now because these are two people. Like, she's a perfect example. Anybody have any questions? Yes, Michael said building my brands and taking notes. Absolutely. This is the thing. These things are not just, online coaching or hairstylists. Like, this is really across the board.
Yeah. And it just takes time. I mean, people give up before they really see the payoff from it, because it is, like, I tell all my clients this, like, when they get to the point where they tell me, I'm about to give up, I've been doing this and it's not working, I'm like, yes, they're almost there. It's like a week away, and every single time, within 2 weeks of the time that they tell me, I'm doing everything you're saying, nothing's working, I'm not getting more clients, within 2 weeks of that breaking point, the explosion comes. And if they didn't have me to tell them, just keep going 2 more weeks, I swear you're almost there, they would have given up. And so that's what most people do, is they get consistent with it for a while, and then they give up because they're like, well, this doesn't work, it's not working. It does work, but it takes you showing up consistently every day, not just posting pictures, doing videos, talking to your audience, doing fun stuff, being different. You got to stand out. And Jamie, I feel like you were trying to say something.
Yeah,
there.
You mean there's not a magic pill that just creates this? I'm so confused. I always use the gym analogy.
Everybody would be Instagram famous.
Right? I always use the gym analogy. I always tell people, I'm like, think about it. You don't go into the gym twice, or even a week, or a month, or 6 months and get the body of your dreams. Like, maybe 6 months, maybe, depending upon your starting point. But you don't go in for a month and then walk out like freaking looking like whatever it is you're trying to look like. It takes time. It takes consistency. It takes showing up. It takes doing the work. It's the exact same thing across the board when it comes to building a business or a brand. It's the same thing. Like, it doesn't just happen overnight. Anybody who tries to sell you, I haven't seen this in a while. I don't even know if this is still a thing. Are there still people out there trying to sell you, like, make $1 million in a week? Is that still a thing?
Probably. I mean,
I'm
I get a lot of inbox messages.
I don't pay attention to none of those crazies anymore, but I used to see it all the time. $10,000 each week with, you know, zero effort. And I'm like,
yeah.
Really? Interesting. That doesn't make any sense. But that's not how it works. It's definitely the same thing. Like, and here, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. So that's another topic we need to talk about. Is it's not
it's
a
fun,
negative.
and it's your business.
All you have to do is look at it that way.
Yeah.
Literally, it's a perspective shift. That's all that it is. It can be daunting, and it can be a pain in the ass, and it can be negative.
It can be as overwhelming as you make it.
Here's the thing. If it's negative to you, you need to do a little self-searching and figure out why. Like, why are you making it that way? Like, what's wrong with what it is that's going on? Are you forcing it? Are you trying to be somebody that you're not? Are you, like, what is the reason that you're making it negative? Because sometimes it's just a mindset shift. I'm shaking. Fucking gym. Earlier, what does this say? I hear people say all the time you have to love the journey more than the results. What is your thoughts on that? Well, I mean, okay, I guess that's acceptable to an extent. Like, so that would be a statement to say to somebody who's making a bunch of excuses and hating the journey. But in reality, like, why do you have to choose one or the other? Like, says who? I love my results. I also love the journey, even when it's a struggle sometimes, or it's not a fucking super pleasant day.
Yeah.
I share both sides of my world. For those of you who follow me, like, I share some raw shit, and it freaks people out. My family, for example. Why are you talking about that? I'm like, because it's my reality. Because that's the journey. Plus, then I usually share the results, so you can see both sides of it. Yeah. Speaking of family, my mom just popped on.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. So I think, honestly, Mason, like, I love that question, but I feel like it's a perspective, it's a choice. I think you should be able to love the journey, absolutely, but you also need to love the result, and you should allow yourself to stand in both places. I don't think you need to pick one or the other. Both is going to create even more abundance and even more drive, because if you're looking at the results and paying attention to them and thriving on that, but then also saying every single step I take, every single thing I do is the journey, and that's pushing me. Like, I know, I love it. You guys are freaking awesome. You're able to enjoy all of it, even the hard days. Like, I love that. At the end of the day, when it's been a hard day and I can barely stand up because I have back issues, so by the end of the day, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, you know what though? It was worth it, right? It was awesome. So it's just a mindset shift. Mm-hmm. So your social media shouldn't be any different. If it is, like, you got to reevaluate what you're doing.
Well, like
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Interrupting you.
No, I didn't say anything yet. I have one client who we worked together a while ago, and I received a message from her recently, and she was just talking about how now it's so fun and exciting. It's like a challenge with herself, like, oh, what am I going to do today? What videos am I going to make today? Because she's made it into something that's fun for her instead of something that is dreadful.
Right.
You know, and really it gets overwhelming when you make it part of your all day, every day. So meaning, like, if I'm going to, I set aside time that I work on my social media stuff, and then I turned off my notifications because it takes over your life.
Do that. Turn off your notifications.
From her. And then then every morning and every night, I be sure at least those times to check all my messages, respond to everything, and then that's it. So even if I don't get on it during the day, which, let's be real, I do, but even if I don't, then I at least have gotten, back to people in the morning and that evening, and then that's all I have to do if I don't want to do anything else, but I schedule in time to work on my social media, and I treat it as a business. So, like, behind the chair, that looks like I might have to stay an extra half hour and film some videos on an updo of a mannequin. I've done that before. Sometimes I'll stay in the salon and edit videos because I know as soon as I get home, I'm in mom mode, and I'm either spending all night on my phone trying to do stuff if I, away from my kids, or I'm neglecting it. So, like, you really have to look at it as your business and schedule it in and do those things at a place where you are not going to be distracted, and you're not going to be sitting in your kitchen thinking you should be doing dishes. Like, this is not less important than the other aspect of your business. It's equally as important. Mm-hmm. You can't really have one without the other if you're trying to grow a business in today's world behind the chair, because the first thing people are going to do is check your pages to see what kind of work you do. And if they see you on there making videos and slaying hair and doing all kinds of fun stuff and doing giveaways, you're a fun person they want to come see.
Yeah, and there's examples of your work. Same thing with any other type of business too. Like that's the interesting part is like, your social media time can be just as, like, you should look at it just as you do responding to emails or talking to your accountant, like real talk. It's just as important. I can see some comments over here too. There's a few on the computer.
Notifications are a problem. Yes, they are, which is why you turn them off, because you're going to be distracted by them all day.
So basically, here's the thing. One of the first things I tell my clients if they run a business and they're using social media is that you have to set boundaries, okay? So you need to set boundaries in all areas of your life, especially if you run a company. But as far as like unless you're a medical professional or an attorney, and maybe there's a couple other options, like no one is dying if you don't respond to them within 2 seconds. You know, unless you just post that you have a cancellation and told people to DM you, like there's no reason for you to be responding and like flipping the fuck out basically about responding to everybody within a couple of minutes. 24 hours, okay, I'll be very honest, sometimes it takes me longer than that.
On my form it says I'll respond within 48 hours.
And my thing is that I take it completely, that responsibility really seriously, and I'm not going to give you a half-ass answer. If I'm responding to you, I'm going to take my time to give you the response that you deserve. I'm going to acknowledge what you said. I'm going to answer your question. So wouldn't you rather, like, think about the energy behind that. Like, wouldn't you rather somebody take 24 hours to respond to you and give you a full response that's quality and it's answering your question, or would you rather them give you a half-ass response within 5 minutes? Like, again, you got to put yourself in the seat of the consumer, and you have to think about it that way. Real talk, like, don't let that stress you out. I check my messages first thing in the morning, typically like around 9 o'clock, and then I check them again in the afternoon. If I don't have stuff going on in the evening, I'll respond to people and messages in the evening, but that just depends on my schedule. But at least twice a day I check it, and that's it. Unless I'm waiting for a response specifically from somebody, and you're allowed to do that. It's okay for you to do that as long as you make the time to go in and respond. Do you want to look at these questions?
Yeah, someone said...
Russ was the first one that we hadn't answered yet.
Okay.
Where does co-branding and partnering come into play? So, Russ, you'd have to tell me a little bit more specifically what you're talking about. If you're talking about, like, affiliate marketing, or if you're looking at, like, partnering with a company or another person. Like, as far as that goes, that's just going to have to be an agreement between the two of you, and I feel like both parties. Like, if Sam and I were to join forces, like, both parties would have to be responsible and be on the same page for how much each of us is going to put into the place. Like, are we going to do stuff together? Are we both responsible for doing things separately? I feel like that's just a communication thing. But if you're asking about something more specific, type more in the comments and let me know. Yes, notifications are a problem. What are your favorite apps to make videos? Something that is simple to use but great.
So
she does way more of that than I do. I have an assistant.
So...
I'm like, hey, Tiffany is my
so
app.
You get yourself a Tiffany. No, for actually filming them, I just do it on the camera on my phone. And do not film your whole 2-hour appointment. Oh my God, you will go crazy. Just film 10 to 30 second clips of each portion of the appointment.
What's that one called? Lapsit or something?
Lapsit, that's another one. That's
okay,
not where I'm going.
I used that one, so it was awesome.
No, so, okay, Lapsit, I'll talk about that in a second. So if you're doing a video where you're going to show all the different aspects of your appointment. So you're going to show the before, you're going to show applying the color, you're going to show we're processing, maybe blow drying or what products you're using, you know, that type of video. Just 10 to 30 second clips of each step of the appointment. Then you can go in and cut them down. So the apps that I use to actually edit the videos once they're filmed are Video Shop or InShot. I like them both. They're both simple. You can do pretty much the same thing. So really it's just going to be your preference there of what you like better. Yep.
Okay.
So those are the two that I use to edit videos. You can add music, you can speed it up, you can slow it down. So I will say it took me about an hour and a half my first time editing a video to figure out all the features, and it might be a little frustrating at first. Put the time in, because after my first video that I made, it took me an hour and a half. After that, it's 10 minutes, because once you got it, you got it. So just play around with it and see. And then Lapsit, so that's a totally different, so that is a time-lapse app, so that one you actually can film your whole appointment.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, so you set your tripod up with your phone, and it's gonna take a picture like every few seconds, and so then you can speed it up and it's going to play like a video. So it looks like you're moving at lightning speed. So you cut your whole appointment down to like 1 minute, and then you're just like flying and it's funny because if someone like walks in and then walks out, they'll be like a ghost. They're like there for a second and they're gone. So cool. LAPSEIT. For that one.
I used that for meal prepping videos for my lifestyle brand, and I used it for making oils, and it was hilarious. The one with the oils I never posted because it was out of control. I sent it to you though. I was like, Sam, what is this? Like, I was all over the place.
Right?
Like, it was not good. But anyway, so Russ, as an example, what we're doing right now, sharing info together. So basically, this is the kind of thing. So Sam and I have completely different businesses, but they have interesting interconnections. And plus, so as her coach, I'm like, let me help you out I'd be more than happy to share my insight on followers because it's something I'm super passionate about and I love to talk about.
Yeah.
So here's the fun part though. This is good for both of us, right? It's a great experience for me. It's a great experience for her. It gets her in front of new people, gets me in front of new people. So it's a win-win. So basically what we did, since we do live in the same place, in the same town, is I'm like, hey, when are you available? And we figured it out. We came here because I don't have kids. So it's quieter to do it here. And so that's how we did it. So I'm moving, right? So I'm moving in a while. So if we have one of these moments where we want to do it again, I have an app that plugs into Facebook where we could both be on separate video and do the same thing.
Or just fly to Iowa.
Yeah, she'll just fly to Iowa. It'll be fine. But basically, that's kind of how it works. I've done things with other people before where they're like, hey, I would love to chat with my audience with you about that. Same thing with a podcast interview. It can be similar to that. It can definitely just be that simple. You don't need to make it any more complicated than that. One of the things... Yeah.
Someone asked them.
No, he just got a book. Was talking about book
videos
rusted.
that don't suck.
Yeah, I like that.
So another thing that I kind of want to touch on is just the act of just the act of being active on your pages will draw in new people, because it's not, I can't tell you how many clients that have ended up in my chair because they connected with me on a different level other than my hair stuff. So that's why I'm on social media so much, just talking about whatever I want to talk about. I don't talk about everything. Because so what'll happen is somebody will come out of the woodworks that I haven't heard from in years, and they'll like a post that I talked about my family or whatever. And then
that's how you came to me.
Oh yeah, that is how I came to you. And then, a few days later, I see they like my business page, and then a few weeks later, they're booking an appointment. So it really just takes being active and again, being grateful and engaging with the followers that you do have, because honestly, if you have followers now that aren't coming to see you, more followers are probably not coming to see you if you keep building it in that way.
That's a great point. So I recently have focused differently on the type of content that I've been putting out there, and anybody who's followed me for a long time, some of you guys have kind of seen that shift. And I went quiet for a bit, I wasn't doing a lot. Because I was figuring out kind of my demographic and what I was kind of wanting to change as far as how I was talking, because I've changed as a person in a really fucking cool way. And so I wanted to shift. I'm no longer that. I will kick your ass all day long, but I'm no longer that. Let me scream at you and freaking pull that. That's not my ideal audience anymore. I'm not looking for people who need me to pick them up off the floor. I hate when I say that. I used to and I still will, but that's not my main message anymore. And so I've shifted the way that I've interacted with people. And that's the cool part, is that you can do that. So if you have a group of followers that aren't interacting, they may not be your people, and that's okay. That doesn't mean go delete them all. Just start thinking about who you're wanting to bring into your chair. We've talked about specifically what type of client you want to bring in. Same thing happens for me. So Sam and I literally knew each other through other people in high school. Her sister used to do my hair, but I never really, we never really talked to each other that much. But randomly, I didn't know she was looking at my social media posts. I didn't even know she was paying attention at all. And then one day she's like, oh my God, I have to hire you. And I'm like, what? Out of fucking nowhere. So that's the other thing. And I wanted to talk about
because back then, I wasn't engaging in your stuff. I was just stalking you.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Yeah. And so there's two things I want to note. Number one is about the statistics, and the other one, just so I don't forget, is the quiet people.
Okay.
So statistically in the online space, I can give you some specific examples of guys who have 500,000 followers and that still have 1% of their followers are converting. What I mean by that is they're either in a free group or on their mailing list, or they're paying them money. And it's typically not more than that. So you need to not freak the fuck out about your sales. If you have, you know, I think collectively I have like, I don't even know how many anymore actually, but I've done the math and I'm about 1 to 2%. So that's really awesome. And when you're standing in those shoes though, for a minute you look around, you're like, this doesn't make any sense. I should have more than that. But statistically, that's not how it works. Mm-hmm. Especially when you're giving free value into the world. Let's be real. Like, not everybody is going to ever give you money, and that's okay. Because there still are people who are going to talk about you and help you get better at what you do too, by interacting and doing your thing. The other thing that's interesting is that 90% of my paying clients never commented on my posts, never liked my stuff prior to us working together. So for those of you who are running, I don't know if that's same for you, but like
on that in just a minute.
With my business and with a lot of other businesses that I've talked about, like especially a lot of people who do coaching and speaking and that are authors and things like that, like 90% of our clientele are not currently active in our newsfeed, meaning or in our comments and in our stuff. I've had people come to me and give me money that they've never spoken to me before, but they've just been following my content. So that tends to be part of it too. So don't freak out if people are not commenting and liking. That doesn't mean they're not watching. Like, you have no idea who you're impacting.
I've literally had people follow my hair stuff for years before booking their first appointment. Years. And
you didn't even know because they weren't interacting, right?
Well, and that's the thing. Sometimes though they would for like years. They would like my stuff, but I'd never see them. You know,
right?
So yeah, it goes. So that totally translates to my business, because that's the reason. Especially in the beginning, I was doing so many giveaways, product giveaways, to get followers on my page, because such a small percentage of the people following you are actually buying from you, are actually coming to see you. So that's why you want to keep constantly getting new followers, because that's normal. I mean, if you have 200 followers, that's awesome, but like, you want to be growing, because really only 10% of those people are even engaging, if that many, and then a smaller percentage of that are actually coming to you. So that's why you want to grow to so many, is because such a small percentage actually translates to income. Right. So that's normal. It's not like you're doing anything wrong if you have, 500 followers on your Facebook business page, but like, that isn't translating to lots of dollars just yet.
The other side of that too is you need to really pay attention. So a lot of people I ask these questions to, I'm like, so how many people do you think come to you from social media? And they're like, especially if you have a brick and mortar business, okay? Mm-hmm. And they're like, I don't know. Okay, so then how do you know that your social media is being successful or not? Like, you don't know.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure you're asking. Like, make sure, because you never know. You could be getting one new customer a week from your social media posts.
That's the first question I ask. How'd you find me?
Yeah.
And it's always social media.
Yeah, and it's a great question. Typically, my clients hit me up on social media.
Right.
So I know that's where they found me.
Yeah.
But yeah, if somebody emails me, first thing I ask for sure, or they call, that doesn't happen very often. But no, it definitely.
If it does, they don't get answered.
I'm like, who is that? But no, it's a big thing to pay attention to. Like, that's a lot of what we were talking about before, was with people saying, that this is stressful and it's overwhelming. Again, that's a choice. You can choose to make it that way, but you can also choose to make it something where it's not, where it's fun and it's rewarding, but you can't know that unless you ask the right questions and you see where people are actually coming from, or you do like check in. If you check in at my location, and any business can do that. Brick and mortar. I used to do that at the body shop all the time. People would check in and I'd put them all in each week. We'd put them in a hat and I'd pull the name and we'd give them a free oil change.
Yeah.
You don't make any money on oil change anyway. Really? So giving away for free was nothing.
Right.
Mandy, lots of clients don't use social media. They are old. I need to attract someone else. I hear ya, though. So there's a whole nother ball game, like a whole nother pool of people that you can pull from. Mm-hmm. I understand that your current clientele might not use it, but that doesn't mean you can't attract new people with it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I've been going...
Whole untapped market right there.
Yeah, for sure. I've been going through my friends list, clicking on their posts, liking, talking to them, then they see my hair stuff. Absolutely. So interacting is a big thing. I call it farming. I don't remember where I heard that from. Honestly, somebody somewhere someday said social media farming to me a million years ago, and I've been quoting it.
I picture you out there with a plow, like every
legit.
time you say that.
And I love that term because it's true. So you're farming. My Instagram, for example, number one thing that you do when you are interacting and you're adding value or saying something kind or saying something nice or giving a specific tip, maybe it's in a Facebook group. That happened to you. Maybe it's in a Facebook group.
Oh yeah, let me tell
maybe
that
it's
story
in on just somebody's Instagram post. But if you're giving information, you're interacting, and you're sweet or you're kind or whatever it might be, people are like, "Oh, who's that girl?" And then they click. You do it. You know you do it. You click their stuff, and
you
down the rabbit hole you go into their
And
content.
you scroll until you see what they look like.
And you go into their content, and sometimes you like their page, and sometimes you don't. If you like their vibe, you know what I mean? But that's what I call farming, because that's how you grow organically, and you get people who actually want to see your stuff.
Can I share my story about that?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a few stories about that. So one night I was on the Instagram at like 3 a.m. because I couldn't sleep, and I just started going to all these hairdressers' pages and just like liking and commenting. I didn't really have any end goal. I wasn't like trying to get much followers, but then I woke up the next morning with like 150 new followers, and then I lost like half of them. So like you really can't get caught up on the number. But what are you doing?
Shh, I'm trying to get a good
Okay,
picture.
sorry. So back to when she was talking about, farming. So,
Farming.
farming. A few weeks ago, or I guess like a month ago, we were discussing my business and my coaching business and just how passionate I am. And she said something like, you're doing this because you care. And because I read something that was like, the average hairdresser makes $26,000 a year or something. And she was like, yeah, you're so passionate about what you do because you know that hairdresser is busting their ass for that $26,000 a year, And so that inspired me to write this heartfelt post. And that was just, my only intention was just to share my heart. And before I knew it, that post was shared into the hairdresser education forum with 150,000 members. And then it was just getting shared and shared and shared and shared and shared. And probably most of you watching this video found me because of that post shared into that forum. So that one post actually generated, in that whole next 2 weeks, I was just getting flooded with consultation requests for coaching. And so like that one, now it took me a year to write that post. Like I've been showing up consistently on social media for a year. So it took a year's worth of experiences, a year's worth of, showing up every day. But all that led me to write that specific post, which was the catalyst that exploded my business seemingly overnight. So back to showing up even when, like, I didn't think anything was going to happen from that. I just wrote it because it was something that was heartfelt and in the moment, and I just felt like I wanted to share, so you never know what people, and honestly when I wrote it, I almost didn't share because I'm like, is this good, is it not? But I did.
Right.
And so that's that. I found you on Hef. Yeah, Nicole, you did. And Amanda, yep, see?
Mandy lives on a farm and I'm jealous. Trust me, she knows. I want all the farm animals. It's real. That's not why
Did
I'm
someone
moving.
ask a question?
Yeah, well, there was something that didn't pop up on mine, but it was on here for some reason. Nicole was
Doing a giveaway, okay.
Yeah, doing a huge giveaway for Christmas for my salon on Facebook. Is the typical like plus share to enter to win the best way. It seems like tons of people share it, but I'm not getting a ton of new likes on my Facebook page. Any other wording I could use? What do you guys do with giveaways? So you're better at that than I am, quite honestly. Mm-hmm. I don't like that. It bothers me. I'm like, ugh, I get annoyed. It's fucking stupid. But
with
it
what?
works. I'm with people.
Oh.
Just the rules, and nobody does it right, and I don't word it properly either. So I hear you, Nicole, like, this is your girl.
Okay.
She's been doing that long before she met me.
Step 1, like my business page, and then type out your business page name. Step 2, share this video. So you're going on and you're telling them the rules and you're typing it out in your caption of the post too. Step 1, like my business page. Step 2, share this video. Step 3, tag 2 friends below who love free products. So, and then I specify at the bottom, tagging your friends does not enter them automatically. They must complete all 3 steps to be eligible themselves and must be available to pick up at whatever location. So the tagging 2 friends, 1 allows you, or 3, or however many you want to say, allows you to know who's entered. And so you can go back and make sure that they've liked your page and shared your video. And it also exposes that giveaway to 2 new friends. So
the biggest key there is being very clear with instructions. So that is the point to basically anything. Like when I share something, I'm like, hey, I could be like, I'm giving away $3,000, and people will be like, awesome, and be like, you need to do these 3 things. Nobody's going to do the 3 things unless you clearly explain them as if you're explaining it to a kindergartner. And the reason is because we're all so fast, we're moving. Everybody's all over the place. So if you explain it out in like super, super detail, then there's no reason for them to not get entered other than them just being obviously lazy. Not wanting to get entered.
And so that's the thing, like if they do it, check. Make sure every single person has done all 3 things, because if you're giving away an awesome gift basket, it better be to someone who has completed all 3 simple steps of your process.
I will do a lot for $3,000.
Right?
I mean, here's the thing though. I literally have given away like 50% off of coaching classes in the past and stuff like that, and people just didn't even follow instruction, and I'm just like, wow. It's like mind-bending. But it is what it is. But so sometimes, though, to answer your question, Nicole, sometimes people just really don't pay attention, unfortunately. That doesn't mean your content's not good. That doesn't mean your giveaway is not awesome. It's just people just really don't always pay attention.
Well, and with the giveaways, too, from experience and from working with my clients, actually, one of them last week got like 26 on our first time, which is unheard of. Like, that's usually awesome. On your first one, you'll get like a handful. So know that that's normal. So like your first one, maybe you'll get a few. Your second one, maybe you'll get a few more. It really takes doing it a few times before you get like a lot. And even honestly, I say for me, like a good one is like 12 to 15. And that is making the giveaway last for a week. That's resharing it every day. Because every time you reshare on your personal page, or, you know, you draw people's attention to it, you may get like 2 or 3 more people every day. So like if you only have your giveaway going on for 3 days, okay, you may get 6 people. But if you have it go on for a week, you'll get a lot more, because again, you only get a few every day unless you like go viral, which is really cool. But yeah, so just know that that's normal. That's all I want to say. The little things add up. That's why, like, oh, I'm gonna go off on a tangent. Let's talk.
But that's the other back to the whole like full circle around there, is that the fact of the matter is that the vanity number saying like you could get 26 shares, and bring in 26 new likes on your page, which is awesome because that's free and it's organic. So you're not paying for ads, you're not paying for a marketing company, you're just doing it yourself, which is amazing. And that's better than having 300 new people that don't know who you are or really care. So that's the interesting part. And like, that's the part you need to focus on for sure. Russ, or it doesn't resonate, don't think I'd be a good client for a color or extensions. Fact. Nor would she expect you to comment or share.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. That's the interesting part. Like, that's a great point though, Russ. Like, be aware of who your target audience is. You know, like Sam and I, when we talk, she doesn't do, not that she can't, but she doesn't work on men's hair. Work on their hair. That's not whatever.
Yeah.
I remove everything goes into car terminology in my brain. My mom remember she got that thing implanted, and I kept saying she got it installed.
That's right, yeah.
But my dad's like, it's not the same thing. I'm like, nah, it works. It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, so no, it's just knowing who your ideal, like who your target audience is, who you're talking to. Mm-hmm. That's another thing that makes, this stuff so easy, if you want to make it easy, is just knowing who you're talking to. Mm-hmm. Like, who are you wanting to bring into your chair? Like you were talking about before, like none of your clientele is on social media. Okay, well, who do you want in your chair? If you want older women who don't use social media in your chair, then there's that. Then don't use social media.
Yeah.
But if you want a younger clientele that are more interested in like different stuff, like how Sam posts different colors and different extensions and different things like that all the time, like obviously there's not a whole lot of women in their like 50s and 60s who necessarily want that. So that's not who she's talking to. If they called her and said, hey, I want you to put my hair pink, would she? Absolutely. But it's, you just have to be aware of who you're talking to.
Yeah, you won't go on my page and find one men's cut ever. Not that I don't. Actually, I do have a male client, but and I cut his hair. But beyond that, I don't, just because it's not something that I really enjoy. Like, I can do a fine men's haircut, but it's not going to be the best haircut you've ever received. And so for that reason, I just choose not to do it. So like, you won't go on my page and see my one male client pictures of him, because I'm not trying to attract more of those. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Same thing, like, so there's a lot of coaches, for example, who will only work with men or only work with women. I work with both. people told me before, like, you should niche that down. You should only work with women, or you should only work with men. I'm like, no, like, I don't want to do that. So there's the difference, right? It's all just a choice. There's no right or wrong answer to any of it. It's just what you want. We've been talking forever. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you guys for being here. It's freaking awesome. I think we totally went. Let's just say whoever's hanging in is getting a lot of a lot of info, a lot of social media info for sure. The cool thing too is, I don't know about you, but I like, now that I've been so consistent with this for so long, that like when Facebook shows you your followers or your memories, I mean,
yeah,
it makes me really happy, because I'm like, damn, okay, so then you become an inspiration to yourself, and you can kind of see how things have shifted.
That started happening to me like this week, because I started a year ago.
Yeah, you can kind of see how things shift. So like, I was doing a live stream every single day last year. My business shifted, I shifted, and so it was very aware. Like, I became very aware of how that changed. It was really interesting. It's really enlightening. So that's the cool thing, is that you're able to see that, and it's all documented, right? And that's a whole other conversation that we can talk about another day if people want to know about how to own your content.
Let's start that conversation. Kidding.
Not
here
today.
all night.
I'm like, let me tell you how to own your own content. Anyway, Shane, thank you.
Thanks, Shane.
Thanks, Mandy.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. Thank you for your questions. I appreciate it. It always makes this a little bit more fun when people actually have questions to ask.
Right.
So, I don't know. We'll give it another sec.
Okay.
It's weird how some of them are not. I think some people's accounts must be private, because mine's public, and so that might be why it's not showing up or something.
Taking notes. Got to get it together.
That's awesome,
Yes,
Amanda.
I
That's
love
very
it.
cool.
Yep.
You know, honestly, when I first started doing what I'm doing, like I did.
She was the one that shared. Thank you. You're the one that shared my post into the forum.
Look, see, there you go. That was huge. Thank you for sure.
Right?
Like, you need to go find her and hug her.
Right?
Big time. Like, the thing is that stuff like this, this is where I get a lot of my most interesting, inspirational, like, motivation, is by tuning in and watching what other people are doing and talking to them and learning and observing, and it's really a great use of your time. So kudos to you for spending the time doing that. Would you suggest doing a purge or filter if you have too many non-connective friends or customers, especially on a personal page? I personally, Russ, feel like it's a waste of time, unless you're at the point where you have 5,000 friends on your personal page and you cannot accept anybody new. Then I wouldn't waste your time. I would just be very intentional with who you're joining forces with from now on. And what I mean by that is, maybe you find some groups that resonate with you, or some like influencers that have huge pages that post a lot, where their content and their followers may resonate with you more in what you're doing now. And then you go and farm and you interact on their pages, and you start get the plow. And you start this is not how you plow.
I know.
That's a shovel. Word fucking stupid. Anyway, my lord. But so then you go interact on their posts, or maybe you go and follow their friends and the people that are posting on their stuff. So that's how you can start. I wouldn't waste your time unless the people are on your newsfeed and they're negative and they're pissing you off or they're bringing you down. Then you can unfriend and unfollow all you want to. But as far as like going through and sitting down and going through your friends list and removing people, I wouldn't waste your time. I would just start intentionally moving forward, finding your people, your tribe. Like I said, if you're going into other people's content and you're, oh my God, she just said she has goats. I just got completely distracted. Oh, they're so cute. But so if you go in and you find them and you're adding value into that conversation, those people are going to start gravitating to you anyway. Trust me. Like, that's how I've built what I have, is specifically by doing that. Like, I remember Sam going, how do you know all these people that are all over the country? And I'm like, I just started interacting in different ways, and that's how I've built the network that I have, which is awesome. It's because my company is completely virtual. So it's pretty cool. Social media. Do you do an actual business page, or can I start with just a group? I believe that you should have a business page. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, let me give you...
Amanda, hairdresser?
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely a business page. One, because then you're going to be able to reach anyone, because like groups might be, even if it's a public group, it's like different. People aren't really searching for you as a group.
They take a lot
and
of work.
Also as so last year, my sister and I had a LuLaRoe business, and so all that was run through a group. And with the they changed their settings, and like we noticed like it went from like 700 people seeing our stuff to like 15 in the group because of the way that like they literally have to go in and choose to be notified first for everything you post. Otherwise, they're not going to see anything anyway. So I personally, for the hairdressing world, would not waste my time with the group.
Definitely agree, because like, for example, 3 years ago when I first came into the online scene, groups were the thing. They were positive and negative for me. That's another story for another day. They were positive and negative for a lot of online business owners at the time, actually. It was kind of like the cool kids table, right? It was very weird, and there was a lot of rules, and it was like you felt super like you were gonna get yelled at. Like, it was super weird. But anyway, it was the way to grow your business then, and now it's really just not. Like, it's becoming a place where there are specific purposes for them. But as far as actually building your clientele, I would definitely be showcasing your stuff in a public place where people can search for you, where it can be shared, things like that. So the business page, and that's for any business, as far as I'm concerned, a business page is a must for sure. It takes a very specific amount of intentional work to grow a group. So I feel like if you're going to pick between the two, business page is for sure going to be more important.
Yeah, because literally, I remember when we were doing the LuLaRoe stuff, like you could literally look and see how many people saw each post, and it went from hundreds to literally 15 overnight. So they've
changed it,
yeah,
because
the
they
amount of work
realized
you'd
what
have
was
to
happening.
do. Yeah,
Facebook is not stupid, and here's the other thing everybody needs to understand: Facebook is a business. They are here to make money. So the Facebook groups were a way that they were not getting algorithms. People were not paying for ads. People were using them as a place to advertise more than the business pages, and so they shut that shit down. They're not stupid. They took the algorithms away because they know that it's, plus there's another reason why sometimes you don't get as much reach on your personal page as you do on some things as you do in your business page, and vice versa. They play these games on purpose because they want you to pay for specific things. That's just kind of how it goes.
Said I was unsure. I felt like a group may seem more personal, where maybe I would want it more business versus personal.
I get what you're saying, but I think that if you're intentional with the way you interact with your people, then it can be just as personal as you want it to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you're responding to them and you're talking to them like you're talking to your best friend or your already existing clients. And it takes practice, for sure.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I had somebody say to me, oh my gosh, how do you live stream and not freak the fuck out? And I'm like, well, I started using Snapchat first, honestly, on purpose to get more used to it. But just the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it.
I started videoing myself on my camera and just talking out whatever I wanted to say. So I'm going to sell this water bottle. I would write down bullet points of the selling points of this water bottle, and then I'd go on and record myself and say it over and over and over until my spiel felt natural, and I stopped saying and I stopped getting distracted in my words. So it's almost like this little script, you know, and then I'd go live and do it, and sometimes I'd still mess it up and I'd delete it before anybody could see it. You know, it takes practice.
Well, and the difference too is, so like, I say all the fucking time. I get distracted all the time. I've been live streaming since live streaming became a thing. Like, it wasn't even, what is it? Oh, you don't even, what was it called? Paramore? No. Oh, there was a live streaming app before you could live stream here. That was like my jam.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Pearstream? Shit.
I do know what you're talking about.
It was awesome. But anyway, so like, it doesn't matter. Don't get too hard on yourself. If you say who cares? If you need to read off of a Periscope, yes.
Yes, thank you.
And everybody was hitting the hearts. It was the best.
Yes.
I was loving it.
Well, yeah, and don't get caught up at having to be perfect.
But like,
that's
even
why
if you
people
have a piece of paper, like, who cares? It's okay.
Yeah. Do it.
Periscope, yes, you guys. Periscope was a jam.
Shane for the win.
Yes. Hey, Shay, what up, girl? But yeah, so don't get too hard on yourself. I write shit down all the time to do them. I had a client of mine get really stressed about that.
And the only reason that it's different, so like if I'm going live on my personal page and I'm just going to talk like we're talking right now, I don't prepare anything. I may write down a few bullet points so I don't, because I can just
on the back of a
rabbit trail down
a
freaking, but when I'm going live on my business page to talk about a product or giveaway, you want to get that as short and concise as possible, because you don't have people's attention for very long. So I would get my script down so that when I went on, I could just spit it out as quickly and efficiently as possible, because if you ramble on, you lose them. They're not going to watch the whole thing.
Get straight to the point, yeah.
It's two different things versus now, we didn't have a plan. We just decided to get on here and talk. So it's two different things.
We had a
it's
topic
what you're
that
trying
was
to do.
basically it. Yeah, absolutely. Very, very true. Yeah, this was like, I was like, oh, we should probably like grab a piece of paper
Right?
just in case like my mind goes elsewhere and we start talking about who knows what we start talking about. Farming and dumbbell pressing 45s today like a champion.
Damn.
I know, I'm still shaking. Anyways. All right, you guys, I think we're going to call it a day. We could go on forever.
Yeah.
But I love that my computer's still saying that we went live 17 seconds ago. I'm like, that's false. But if you guys have any other questions, please feel free to pop them in. Sam and I are both tagged in this, so we'll respond to them if you have any questions. And if you liked this video and you think other people would benefit from it, this is my end of video spiel on every video, please hit like and share. I ultimately, and I know you do too, appreciate that very much. But yeah, we heart you. That looks like goggles.
Right?
That's wrong.
Oh my God.
Anyways.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thank
Bye.
you.
Have a good night.